See me. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I done added myself to the stream. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. I'm doing this solo dolo for a minute. Decided I was gonna do a quick little YouTube show live. Like we weren't planning on doing a YouTube thing tonight. We had some stuff come up. But hey, I'm bored. I already have somebody or my other kid watching the other kid, so I may as well jump on here and chat it up. So I was going to talk a little bit about mind control. It's been a really fascinating subject to me. Like once I got into like the whole conspiracy rabbit hole and dove down the rabbit hole, if you will, as I already just said, the rabbit hole. A little tired, don't judge me. But yeah, as I've dove down this path, and the subject of mind control throughout history has been fascinating to me, and it's in use more than anybody could ever have understood. And just to put a little handle on this, like governments use mind control on a massive scale by propaganda. Like we think that we are immune to propaganda here in the United States, but in reality I would reckon that most of what we see on the news is propaganda. And what is propaganda? So propaganda is governments, organizations, and individuals. They have employed propaganda to manipulate public opinion and shape beliefs. Techniques such as emotional appeal, misinformation, repetition, and selective presentation of information are commonly used in propaganda campaigns. Marie, presentation of information. Think about that. What have we been dealing with the past little bit? Selective presentation of information. Now, again, I'm not going to mention what that is or what I think it is, but think about what we dealt with the last couple of years, and you'll do the math yourself. Yeah, man, I don't know. Let's see. Yes, but like so. Anyway, let me get my bearings here. So anybody who looks at propaganda and the idea of it and think that our government is not using it against us is just willfully ignorant at this point. And there's been so much throughout history, like examples upon examples upon examples. Like we think of foreign governments doing this to their citizens, but never us. And I think, as you listen here, as you start to dive down this path with me, you start to understand. So another form of like mind control is called brainwashing. Brainwashing refers to the systematic and coercive alteration of an individual's beliefs, thoughts, and behaviors. It often involves techniques like isolation, sleep deprivation, manipulation of information, psychological and physical abuse, and the use of repetitive conditioning. Another examples of techniques and methods that are used to influence the minds is like hypnosis. Hypnosis is a technique used to induce trance-like states in individuals, making them more susceptible to suggestions. It has been employed both therapeutically and in exploitative context to influence and control behavior. Interrogation techniques. Another form of mind control. In interrogations, various methods have been used to extract information or elicit confessions. These methods range from physical to psychological torture to more subtle psychological manipulations such as sleep deprivation, sensory deprivation, and good cop, bad cop. Another form of mind control is mass surveillance. That's been a pretty common thing as of late. Mass surveillance, it's been a hot button issue, and like one that everybody used to say is BS until Edward Snowden came out and revealed, hey, yeah, your government is spying on you in ways that you could never imagine. Oh, and in case you're wondering what's behind me, it's the puppeteer guy. Let me just jump on here and answer one of these questions. Again, I hope you all are having a wonderful day out here. All right. And this is live, just so you know, so I'm not pre-recording any of this. So, again, don't judge me. I don't care. But anyway, I go on. So what I really wanted to talk about, because I'm doing a short video tonight, is the MK Ultra program. So the MK Ultra program is one of these stories that once you believe, or once you get into this and really read and understand that this was our own government conducting this. This was conducted by the CIA. This has been declassified. This is 100% proven science, just proven. Like, this information is readily available to anybody who wants to look at it. Like, this opens the floodgates, like, especially for me, like, it opened the floodgates to, like, oh man, so if they're capable of doing this, what other conspiracies are true? What other, things have been used against us throughout history? And you again start to be crazy, or start to get crazy with the ideas. Yeah, I'm trying to share this really quick. Why won't it let me share? I'll figure it out later, I guess. I was trying to share my stream here with somebody. There it is. Yeah, I don't know how to share this live stream, but whatever. Is it even going live on my thing? I'm assuming it is. I'm assuming. Sorry, guys. Trying to verify that this is actually live right now. Yeah, oh well. I'm just going to assume that it is and go from there. You are live, view on YouTube. Oh, God. What have I done? Continue to YouTube. Okay, it is live. I apologize. You are live, view on YouTube. Okay, anyway, now that I know that it's live, sorry, I'm new to this software by myself. My buddy Ricky usually controls this. Okay, if you got through that minute, I appreciate you so much. Anyway, back to the MK Ultra program. Anyway, what this did was open the floodgates, in all honesty. Like, the idea that our government could be doing this under our noses is insane. So the MK Ultra program, also known as the CIA's mind control program, was a covert research project conducted by the United States Central Intelligence Agency from the 1950s to the early 1970s. Its aim was to explore and develop techniques for mind control and behavioral modification. The program consisted of multiple subprojects, which many were carried out at universities, hospitals, and other research institutions. Think about that. Universities, hospitals, and other research institutions. MKUltra operated under strict secrecy, and the full scope of its activities was not known until the program was declassified in the 70s. So if anybody's seen the show Stranger Things, they actually make quite a few, they allude to this, like, I believe it's Eleven's mom was in the MKUltra program, and she was the product of that woman being pumped full of large amounts of LSD. So she was like, that's literally what they were trying to do, is create like super soldiers or people with psionic abilities or whatever. And there's many believe that actually was the case. Like, maybe Stranger Things is based on a lot more truth than it is fiction. But in any case, so some key aspects and objectives of the MKUltra program were behavior modification. MKUltra aimed to develop methods to manipulate and control human behavior. This involved experiments to study the effects of various substances, including hallucinogenic drugs like LSD, on individuals' minds. Interrogation techniques. The program explored techniques to enhance interrogation and extract information from subjects against their will. These methods include use of drugs, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and psychological manipulation. MKUltra sought to discover ways to control and influence an individual's thoughts, actions, and beliefs. Researchers investigated techniques such as electroconvulsive therapy, brain implants, and the use of subliminal messaging. Substances and drugs. The program extensively studied the effects of drugs on the human mind, particularly psychedelics like LSD, mescaline, and psilocybin. The CIA believed that these substances could be used to manipulate behavior and extract information. You know that according to what I've read, the CIA is actually the one, like a doctor working for the CIA is the one that invented LSD, which is lysergic acid for those that don't know. So MKUltra faced significant criticism and controversies due to its unethical practices, including the administration of drugs to unwitting subjects, experimentation without informed consent, and the severe psychological and physical harm inflicted on participants. In some cases, the program led to long-lasting negative effects on the individuals involved. The program came under scrutiny in the 70s, leading to congressional investigations. It's crazy, leading to congressional investigations. It's almost like, these agencies are operating by themselves, on autonomous, they're just going by themselves. So, Congress doesn't even know about it. Sounds familiar. It's crazy how much how much you hear about the CIA and like them, like declassifying all the UFO docs and Congress not knowing about it. Like, it's crazy how these different organizations or different government organizations can have like a whole mind of their own, I guess. I don't know. So the project, again, came under scrutiny in the 70s, leading to these congressional investigations and subsequent public disclosures. As a result, MKUltra was officially halted in 1973, and the CIA claimed to have destroyed most of the program's records. The revelations about MKUltra raised concerns about the ethical boundaries of government-sponsored research and led to stricter regulations on the human experimentation. Thank goodness. It stands as a prominent example of the potential abuses and the dangers associated with covert mind control programs. And you can best believe that it wasn't just the U.S. government. Like, definitely wasn't just the U.S. government experimenting on humankind. It was way more than that. I'm guaranteeing all the major governments around the world have done stuff like this. And I'm sure that they figured out all kinds of messed up stuff. It's just insane to me that, like, we have right in front of us a blatant example of, crimes against humanity. Nothing ever came of it. Who got in trouble for any of this? Nobody. Who's gotten in trouble for all the lies and all the crap over history? Nobody. You know who gets in trouble for stupid stuff? Us, the public, the poor people. Meanwhile, again, a government can pull you into these covert programs and pump you full of drugs. And it's perfectly okay, right? It's insane, man. So things like this is what, like, basically led me down the conspiracy-minded path. Like, people laugh at you still to this day and call you like a tinfoil hat wearing person. I almost made a tinfoil hat just because for face value, for comedic value on this, but I did not. Because it's hilarious to me now. Like, how much stuff has to come out for people to believe it. The fact is, until some people are told about this stuff on the news, no one's going to believe it. Just like the UFO stuff. As soon as it starts coming out on the news, all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, there's these UFOs out there, as if people haven't been saying the same thing for, 40 years, 50 years. As a matter of fact, it goes way back further than that, because, there's documents probably to the beginning of recorded history of, like, dealing with UFOs. But that's outside the scope of what I'm talking about here. Actually, no, it's really not. But the idea of mind control goes back probably to the beginning of time, because the truth is we have no idea who we are on this planet. None of us do. We have ideas. We have books that tell us this or that. This is the story. No, this is the story. Everybody wants to claim that their version of the story of human history is 100% correct. And we all know, as a critical thinker, I know that it's not possible for every single story to be true. It's not. We can't fully believe in the idea of evolution because the idea of evolution is flawed. Regardless of what a lot of these people who defend it, voraciously will tell you there's all kinds of holes. There's no accounts for certain leaps, and there's no missing link. We can't find the missing link between how we became from the caves to all of a sudden farming. I could go on for a tangent for days on that, but the fact is our history has been hidden from us carefully. And it's another example of mind control, propaganda, like removing things from our history that would tell us who we really are. And I don't know if y'all are ready for the truth about that, but to be honest, I don't even know the truth myself. I've spent years now researching every different ancient culture, trying to figure this out. And honestly, I'm more confused than when I started. But anybody who knows me knows that I will sit and talk your ear off about ancient history, and the fact is we know absolutely nothing. Like, anybody who's only taken high school history or even college history classes don't know the truth. Unless you've really looked into ancient cultures and looked into their manuscripts and looked into, the science that they were uncovering way back when, you will never understand. Like how we keep finding older and older civilizations, how we still don't know who built the pyramids, even though we want to assume we know. Why there's depictions all over the world of people dealing with extraterrestrial entities in every single ancient culture. I don't know. It's crazy, right? But, that kind of stuff doesn't exist. Just kidding. They started talking about it on the news, so it does exist, right? My goodness. So what are some other examples of mind control used in history? I'm kind of rambling on to myself here. It's kind of hard when I got nobody to bounce stuff off of. Hey, there is one person watching, though. I appreciate you very much, single person. Appreciate you loads. Anyway, so what are some other examples? I'm going to keep this brief because I'm only going to do about a 30-minute video, so I got about 13 minutes left, because this is what me and Ricky are going to talk about next week. I don't want to burn up all my material. But I do want to use the other one I wanted to talk about was religious mind control. So this is a very touchy subject, and I love pushing buttons. So is the idea of religious mind control strictly, from like cults? So you think of mind control as part of those cults, like the people that, got everybody to drink the Kool-Aid. I can't remember. David Koresh, I think it is. They do. They got everybody to drink the cyanide Kool-Aid because they were going to go to an eternal afterlife, whatever they were doing. But so is that the only form of mind control in religion? Absolutely not. So I would say that religion has been used throughout history as one of the biggest forms of mind control that mankind has ever known. And while I do agree that there is a lot of positives that have come out of religion, there is also a ton of negatives. And, those two don't necessarily balance each other out, I guess. But some people would argue with me till they're blue in the face, because this is one of those things that affect people's worldview. If you want to learn more about worldview, look up my podcast on Anchor. It's Reflections with Threes instead of E's, just like here. I do a whole thing that talks about arguments and the idea of why worldview is such a hot button thing. That's why people defend these subjects until their death. I mean, literally, they would defend this till they die. But the fact is that religion has been used to control the minds of the masses for a long time, and it's because of the fear of death. Ultimately, everybody going through life knows their life is going to end at some point. So, like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me when I die? Here, I have the answer for you. You come to me, you follow me, you do everything that I say, you're going to get into this place of eternal bliss. And you're believing every single thing that this person says without question. And every single different version of this church or every different denomination of this church says the same thing. If you don't follow this, you're going to go to hell. And that can't be true. It can't be true for everybody. You know what I'm saying? A critical thinker will not allow that. And then you have the science folks that'll be like, oh no, there's absolutely nothing after this, even though it's, you know, scientifically provable that we're all energy and energy can never be created nor destroyed. So there has to be something after this. We have to, our bodies become light, go back to the source. But the fact is, what religion does is keep you trapped in this box. And that it alone is mind control. You're going to come to me, as a Baptist, you have to follow this strict thing, dress up real nice, come here, sing in church. Don't listen to those Protestant people because they're going to go to hell. And like, you realize once you're in these places that every single person in there judges every single other denomination as though they're wrong. And how could that be? There's a line from NF, who's a rapper who I really love. He's like, church is where I found God, but it is also where I learned to judge. Hot fire right there, by the way. So as I get into a little bit more religious mind control and the methods that are used, cults does come up. So some religious cults have been known to employ mind control techniques to manipulate their followers. These techniques may include isolation from outside influences, like they would literally close themselves off on islands or huge pieces of property, whatever you want to call it, and not let anybody come in there and be like, I'm God, basically. I was chosen, so you need to follow me, and nobody else. I'm the only one that can have sex with all these women. Like, it's literally what some of these people believe. And like, man, you guys are just, some people are just easily controlled. And what these are psychopaths. And the fact is, there's some psychopaths I can guarantee you, I can name one right now. Televangelist dudes, you'd be lying to yourself if you don't think that those guys are psychopaths. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but anybody can get up on TV and preach with, passion in their voice and get you to believe something. And yet, he's preaching about helping people and God and all this stuff, but he's out here riding around in a private jet. He's got freaking, excuse my language, multi-million-dollar mansions, multi-million-dollar cars. That is not a person of God. A person of God shouldn't need any of that. A person of God should be using all of that money to help everyone. Yes, I'm sure that they're helping people, but they're also helping themselves, which is not correct. It's not what is supposed to be happening. And yes, people will say, who am I to judge what somebody does with their money? But I am judging because these people are taking tax-free money and using it for their own benefits. And when they were questioned, they're like, the guy was like, do you think Jesus would ride around on a donkey if he was here today? Like, you're dodging the question, bro. Like, I don't know. I look at that kind of person and I'm like, dude, I don't know how people don't see that this is a master manipulation. But in any case, all I can do is talk about it and point out what I see. So another one is manipulation of beliefs. In some cases, religious leaders or organizations may employ tactics to manipulate or control individuals' beliefs. This can involve distorting or suppressing information, promoting a black and white worldview, discouraging critical thinking, or questioning and enforcing conformity to specific doctrines or teachings. This is a very, very common thing in religion. Discouraging critical thinking. You can't be a critical thinker and be super religious. Anybody who's been super religious and starts to really wake up to the true nature of the universe starts to immediately question everything that they've learned. And if you go to talk to the leaders of these places, they'll tell you, oh, no, you just got to have faith. You can't question the teachings. You can't question it. And anything that you can't question is probably a manipulation. I'm just saying. And again, many people will look at me like, oh my God, this guy's a heathen. But I have a strong belief in God. And I just believe that the God of the universe is literally the universe itself. And what does that even mean? What does that mean? That means that everything and everyone you see is God acting itself out in infinite ways. That's what all of this is. And that's why you can have a connection with the divine, no matter what religion you follow, no matter what spiritual faith, you can have a connection with God, because it doesn't matter. What it is the seeking of something higher than yourself. That's the truth. I learned that by researching all these different religions. Like, how can these people have a connection with God when these people say that these are, demonic worshipers? Exactly. You start to realize that the world is not, these other people are not heathens. These other people are not, savages as we believe the Native American people to be, when in reality, they had the right idea. We're finding now that, hey, we need to live in harmony with the land. We need to respect nature and literally worship spirit. That's all it is. That is what enwraps and connects all of us, is spirit. And that's the truth. I don't know, I went off on a religious tangent here, but hey, whatever. So another way that another example of mind control is charismatic leadership. Charismatic leaders within religious contexts may possess persuasive abilities that allow them to influence and control their followers' minds. Oh my goodness. Followers' minds. Create a sense of devotion and unquestioning loyalty, leading followers to adopt the leader's beliefs and directives without critical examination. Interesting. What does critical examination mean? It's like critical thinking. You're critically examining somebody, I guess. Thought-stopping techniques. Certain religious groups employ techniques to discourage critical thinking and suppress doubts or dissenting thoughts. These techniques may include repetitive prayers, chanting, meditation, or practices aimed at creating a mental quietude or submission. Interesting. But those could also be good things, I will say. So thoughts like chanting and stuff like that, that's not necessarily a negative thing altogether, because, I mean, you can chant good prayers. There is good prayers that you can chant, but I don't know. Anyway, as I'm about running down on time here, man, that was a quick 30 minutes. Holy crap. I haven't even got through like a quarter of my material here. I don't know. So I do also want to touch a little bit on the MK Ultra program, a little bit on the religious mind control throughout history. So I don't know if anybody else thinks of propaganda. Who do you think of? I'll tell you who I think of. I think of Hitler and the Nazi Party. Because I'm pretty sure, like, don't quote me on this, but I'm almost certain that the video camera, the moving pictures, as they used to call it back in the day, was actually invented as a propaganda device. And the Nazis pretty much were masters of propaganda. They literally convinced an entire populace of people that the Jews were evil and needed to be exterminated. And that was like the worst possible thing in history, yet they were able to convince all these people that were evil. So, like, and he did this through public speaking and constantly showing videos and stuff on this subject. And it basically, the idea that you create it, you tell a lie often enough, it becomes truth. And I want you to understand something. If like anybody who's going to watch this is definitely happening on a daily basis in the United States as well. 100%. Anybody that doesn't get this is closed-minded as hell. Like, we have been lied to on a scale that is unimaginable, especially the last few years. And the data that's coming out is proving it. I'm not going to mention it again because, again, I don't want to get deplatformed here. But we know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so Nazi Germany, the Nazi regime under Adolf Hitler extensively used propaganda to control the minds of the German populace. Joseph Goebbels, the minister of propaganda, literally they had a minister of propaganda, orchestrated a sophisticated propaganda machine that disseminated messages promoting Nazi ideology, demonizing targets such as the Jews, communists, and other minorities, fostering blind loyalty to Hitler and the Nazi Party. Man. So Soviet Union under Stalin. Stalin's regime in the Soviet Union employed propaganda as a powerful tool for mind control. The mind-controlled media and arts were used. Oh, this is Soviet Union. I don't know how I went from Germans there, but whatever. Anyway, Stalin and his policies were used to glorify Stalin and his policies, rewrite history to fit the party's narrative, and instill fear and loyalty among the population. Dissenting voices were suppressed, and censorship was rampant. So the idea of rewriting history, that's a really good one. So history as we know it, as taught through our schools, do you think it's 100% correct? No, it's not. history is being told through a lens of each nation. And the more you research it, the more you research history from outside the world or outside the United States and then other people's perspectives, it's like, holy crap, like why is this being hidden from us? And the truth is, history is written by the victors. There's a quote by Frank Herbert that says that the greatest mistake, I'm going to butcher it, the greatest mistake a thinking man can make is to think that any one version of history is absolute. History is written by a group of observers, and none of whom are impartial. What does that mean? Again, history is carefully controlled. It's been carefully, conducted in order to paint us with this narrative, and it doesn't make any sense, to be honest. Like, our history is clearly wrong. Our timeline is clearly wrong for, stuff that, like, when the pyramids were built. Or the other thing I wanted to talk, and do you ever notice that anybody ever think it's crazy? Like, when we're talking about BC, say the pyramids were built in 5000 BC. Why the hell does it go down to 0 and then up? Like, I know it's like before Common Era, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, we go from, makes me think that like time went backwards, because we go from building these insane, like impossible monuments to literally, dude, building, I don't know. It's hard to explain what I'm talking about, but like, how do we go from building that to what we have now? Like the houses we have now that don't last 30 years. Like we built something that's lasted 7,000 years according to our records, but our houses can't even last 30 years now. I don't know. Who knows, man? Oh, look at you. Whoa, I died. Oh, there's actually 2 people watching. Oh, my goodness. I love it. I don't know if anybody's commenting because I cannot see anything. So appreciate you all for watching. It is 7:30. I'm actually about to jump off here pretty quick, but I wanted to not waste my my evening, because I did get the kids to get watched. But anyway, join me and Ricky next Tuesday, because we're going to go into this subject very, very deeply. I'm going to show some videos of my boy David Wilcock talking about the mind control that the Draco people could be using on the populace. Again, sounds crazy, but nothing is crazy when you really start to open your mind and realize that we're being manipulated and have been for a long time. The quicker you realize that, the quicker you start to become free and can control your own mind. And I don't know how else to tell anybody that. Like, that's it. The truth is, you need to be the one in control of your mind. You deserve to know the truth, and we've been lied to for a long time. We deserve to know why. But anyway, before I go on a tangent, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thank you for watching. This is Reflections, again with 3s instead of E's. Hope you all have a wonderful evening.